WIBX News Time is 7:03. Your news brought to you by Garmin. Only a Garmin Nuvi with real directions tells you where to turn by pointing out easy-to-see landmarks like turn left after the gas station. Get a Garmin, the most trusted name in GPS. The DREAM Act coming to an end in New York. The state Senate called a surprise vote yesterday on the bill that would have allowed the children of illegal immigrants to receive financial aid to attend a college in the state. The measure went down to a narrow defeat by a 30-29 vote. JetBlue is coming to Albany next year. It's adding 2 flights a day between Albany and 2 Florida cities, Orlando and Fort Lauderdale. Senator Chuck Schumer lobbied the company hard to add the Albany service, saying he has been working on this for a long time. Company officials say the service is not just for leisure, as passengers can connect to Texas and the West Coast from Florida. Sources close to Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney say the 2-term legislator will announce soon she has indeed decided to primary Congressman Richard Hanna in the June Republican primary. A party committee member tells WIBX that a petition is being distributed through the political firm Compound Strategies Group. Assemblywoman Tenney will join us later this morning on WIBX's First News with Keeler in the Morning. A woman is dead following a rollover in Oswego County. Police say a minivan driven by 43-year-old Julianne Seaton rolled over on County Route 17. The minivan struck a snowbank and overturned a short distance from Seaton's home, ejecting her and pinning her under the vehicle. She was a registered nurse at Samaritan Medical Center.
Still cold for this time of year this morning, but temperatures up just a little bit. Our area is down below zero in the Adirondack State Park. Go through this morning with these frigid numbers trying to come back, but only a little bit. Still below normal with sunshine this afternoon, 39. Not quite as frigid tonight, 22. And some rain showers by tomorrow afternoon. Gusty winds at a high of 41. Rain will eventually mix on over with some snow later tomorrow night. Chance of rain and snow on Thursday with highs in the upper 30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic on WIBX 950.
Your weather brought to you by Clifford Fuel. For over 50 years, Clifford has been providing Central New York with excellent service. Go online at cliffordfuel.com each month to register to win a $100 gas card. 10 degrees in Ilion, 14 in Utica, and 15 right here in Marcy. WIBX News Time 7:05. Your next news and weather in 15 minutes, and always online on Facebook, Twitter, and WIBX950.com.
In sports, the Knicks are slated to introduce new team president Phil Jackson today. The 68-year-old former Lakers and Bulls coaching legend agreed to a deal on Friday to run the Knicks basketball operations. And the Knicks will try to keep their recent success going tomorrow night when they host the Pacers at Madison Square Garden. New York extended its winning streak to 6 games with a 115-94 victory over the Bucks on Saturday. The Giants are adding one of the top remaining free agent cornerbacks. The Daily News reports they have signed Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie to a 5-year deal. $35 million is what it's worth. And the Yankees will try again after Monday's Grapefruit League game against the Pirates in Bradenton was canceled due to rain. Scheduled starter Masahiro Tanaka threw a simulated game in the indoor batting cages instead. The Yanks host the Red Sox this afternoon. With sports, I'm Andrew Dominio.
Okay, this hour we'll talk to Claudia Tenney, Assemblywoman. Was she going to run? Is she not going to run? What's happening? We'll dig into all of it coming up, plus a chance for you to get in on this Mega Millions thing. And I think my numbers are lucky. I think my numbers have a special touch. And the reason is because I've played really over the course of the last couple of years every once in a while, and I've never won even $1. So I believe if anybody is due, you're looking at him. Or in your case, maybe listening to him. 7:06, back in 2 minutes in WIBX. Knockdown, 7:10. Going to be sunny today with the highs going up to 40 and just a little bit above. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be feeling like maybe today's the day you open up the windows and let out all the cold germs. Has this been a bad cold year for people? Maybe because it's been so cold, it's actually been pretty good. Wasn't a really big, up to this point, a really big flu year, was it?
No.
I don't think so.
Well, in Syracuse it was.
Oh. That was warm there. That's probably why. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. All I know is it's not been all that bad for us. A few stories we'll get into, but Davey, how about, good morning, Davey. Good morning. Good morning. You look all smiley in there. Davey answering the phones for Andrew, who's running the computers for Manaski, who is sitting on the beach. Probably right now watching the sun come up.
What's his name? Manaski?
Manaski,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I seem to have forgotten it once
easy.
you said
he wants to send us those pictures of sunshine in 85.
Yeah, it's awful.
Davey, let's take caller number 4. I want to give somebody a chance to win in this Mega Millions. So I'm going to put you onto my ticket. So how do we do this? We always like do a share type thing. So however we share it, the person that calls and his caller number, what number did I say, Davey? I forgot already.
4.
7360186. Caller 4 right now. You have to do nothing. Just come on the air with us. And I want to give you your numbers. You'll need to have a pen and paper ready because you're going to write them down. And the only thing I can tell you is the official rules on this. If something were to happen and I were to lose the ticket, if I were to get caught in some sort of a fire and the ticket burned up, we, nor the radio station, would be responsible. But as long as everything works out good and I'm able to collect my money, you'll get 25% of whatever I get to collect.
But now if you say that you lose the ticket and start arriving to work on a personalized drone,
then you're realizing that
something is amiss.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm going to grab my tickets here. Hold on.
No, I think that because Manaski's gone, he loses out. So I would get the larger share.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
I know about
I'm going right down the list here, right down the list, so prepare yourself. Okay, our correct number caller is JoJo. Good morning, man.
What's up, Billy?
How you doing? How are things? You ready for this March Madness?
Oh, yeah, you got anything going?
Are you going to Buffalo?
No, you got anything going on the radio?
What do you
You're
mean?
on the radio.
Yeah, we're on the radio. I talk in such a comfortable way, you don't even know when you're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air now.
Yes, Billy. You're missing the whole point.
Okay, what was the point? I missed it.
You usually have contests and stuff.
Ah, right.
Yeah, the $1 Million Bracket Challenge. That's what he's asking about.
Okay, listen, I'm going to let you in, and hopefully I'm going to be winning Mega Millions tonight. It's at 400 and something million. So you have a pen and paper ready there, JoJo?
I sure do.
I'm slower than molasses today. Here we go. Here are your numbers. Andrew, you should write these down, too. This is JoJo, and here are his numbers. First of all, your quick pick. This is quick pick that I did. The mega number is 12.
Okay.
And here are yours. 4, 11, 16, 24, and 41.
Okay, 4, 11, 16, 21, 24.
No. 4, 11, 16, 24, 41, and 12. So, again, whatever I win, you'll get 25% of it. As long as I don't lose the ticket, burn the ticket, or have it end up in the wash or anything like that. And trust me, I'm holding on this thing like it's gold. Okay? 4, 11, 16, 24, 41, hot. And your quick pick mega number is 12. Okay?
Who do you like for the tournament?
Who do I like for the tournament? Well, I'm going to say this. It's not Syracuse.
No.
Very sad. Very sad. Although I'm just such an optimist, I still believe there's a chance. I still believe they turn everything around and play the way they did earlier in the season.
I'd like to see that.
It would be nice to see, but you know what? You can't put that on your bracket because it's not going to happen. They may not make it past Thursday. Thursday's going to be a tough game. So, all right, JoJo, hold on.
You might get to the Elite Eight.
I want to get you. Who are you picking? Who are you picking, by the way?
I like Michigan State, Louisville. Michigan State to win.
Listen, Louisville is they're scrappers. Hold tight. And by the way, Louisville gets what, a 4 seed?
That's
Syracuse gets a 3 seed.
Yes. So
That doesn't seem right. All right, hold on tight. Davey's going to get your information there, JoJo. Thanks, man. Okay, so there. That's how.
That's
I'll do
a
it
big chip on the shoulder that for Louisville.
What are you talking about?
Well, the fact that they're a 4 seed, that's giving them that's going to give them the motivation, I think, to go forward and try and win it all again.
Yeah, well, I listen. I think people felt that they could have been higher than a 4 seed.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying they're going to use that as inspiration?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Syracuse gets a 3 seed, and they're lucky they're in the tournament based on the way they've played in the last month. They're lucky they're even in the tournament. All right, we're going to talk to Tim Reed coming up in just a few minutes. Later on, in just 15 minutes, Claudia Tenney, Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney. What is happening? Our first chance to speak with her and find out. She'll be in Albany. Find out what is the story. Everything we're getting is saying that she is running. Everything we're getting is actually. We were given a little piece of information yesterday, and I had a chance to see it and read it. And it basically is Claudia, in her own words, saying, "I have decided to run, and here's where you can get your petitions." So, to me, that's the announcement right there. It's official. but not official. So we'll dig into all of that stuff coming up in just a second. Now, we will also give you another chance to get in on my Mega Millions tickets. I have 4 or 5 here that I can give away. Tim Reed coming up in just a second. Hobica Law Firm, you've been injured at work, and your biggest fear is how you're going to be able to provide for your family. How will you survive financially while you're injured? When will you get back to work, and will you be able to get back to work? These are all questions about the future. So you really don't have any idea in so many cases. And so you go into the workers' comp case without thinking about the long-term future. That's where an attorney comes in. Andrew and Joseph Hobica, they do workers' compensation. They not only know about the traps to avoid, they not only know about how you need to take care of your medical treatment and benefits for today, but they look into the future. What happens if this is an injury that is reoccurring? Hobica Law Firm, they do workers' compensation. Andrew and Joseph Hobica, 1417 Genesee Street, Utica. Call 724-1600. It's 717. And Christine with an update on what's going on here this morning.
Good morning. No one had a motive, at least one that they know of, in the case of missing Flight 370. The Rolling Stones delaying the start of their Australian tour following the sudden death of Mick Jagger's girlfriend. And a man on death row scheduled to be executed overnight in Oklahoma was not, because the state didn't have the drugs to carry out the execution.
That's unbelievable. Well, budget time. Forecast today, sunny and a high over 40 degrees. It's going to feel like a heat wave today. Some showers tomorrow, high 42. Still some cooler temperatures in the overnight, but right now we're quickly warming up. We're at
10 in Ilion, 15 in Marcy.
Okay, we're coming up there. Coming up, NASA predicting the end of Western civilization. It's true. Sad, but true. And Tim Reed from the Boilermaker in 2 minutes in WIBX. 7:20. This Saturday, Utica on Tap. It's at the Stanley. You can sample over 90 beers all in one place. And here's the beauty of this. If you get your tickets now, which you can do so online at our website at WIBX950.com. You can go to this event for $30 a person versus $40 at the door on Saturday, sponsored by Pizza Boys of New York Mills, and it's Utica on Tap. Everything in one place, more than 90 craft beers.
And us, I think.
And
Most
everybody
of us will
else,
be there,
yeah, pretty good. Tim Reed in studio here right now. Good morning, Tim Reed. Good morning.
Morning, Bill Keeler.
Okay, so before we get to anything, you know that Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney is coming on in a few minutes. I don't think anybody should ever expect an announcement of whether or not she's running.
Right. Your record in regards to announcements has been all of 0, I think. Wasn't it?
Well, right. It just doesn't happen that way. That's good.
I don't know. We do a half with Astorino. It was
that was
0.5.
You did your best. You kept throwing the lures out there, but they weren't biting.
I had him. He made so many mistakes there, and he basically committed to running without saying he wasn't running. Yep. So you're right. But nobody's going to want to announce. I can't imagine that she would do that here. However, we do have. The guy I'm getting, and I probably shouldn't even say that. Where I'm getting my information, I'm able to look at evidence of that is, in my opinion,
incontrovertible.
Yes, that it is Claudia saying, "Yes, I'm running." And would you please carry the petition for me and get signatures?
Did you
that's
pretty
utilize
a drone?
No, that's right. He's not a person. He's actually a drone that gave me this information. You can think about that going out, sending a drone out to get
sent out for petitions.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get to Claudia, Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney at about 7:35 here this morning. Okay, Tim Reed. While Saturday is.
People are going to be drinking beer, and hopefully they're going to be doing other things too.
It's going to be Utica on Tap. At the same time, they'll have a chance to get in there and register for the Boilermaker, and you expect this thing to sell out pretty quickly this year.
Yeah, so last year we sold out in 68 hours. I wouldn't be surprised if it sells out in a day.
Yeah, fast.
Yeah.
There's just
a lot of buzz.
And the more that these things end up happening, that when 2 weeks, there were a lot of people that didn't get in. There was a
Oh, yeah.
frenzy.
I heard from every single one
There
of
was
them.
a frenzy of people that were saying, "Why can't come on? I talked to you back and
exactly.
I ran every
I'm
one."
the most important whatever.
Yeah, and it's hard because you have a limit that you have to
Exactly.
You have
I mean,
to set
you
the
know,
limit.
the issue is, I think everyone's accepted that the start is what the start is. It's clogged, and 12 minutes would clear a lot of people through it. But so people understand that, they figure it out, and with the timing devices, it whatever it is. The issue is the post race party. The issue is how many more people can we jam in there? I mean, because we think that every person that comes, they're at least bringing somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's the
Well,
problem.
and you don't want to get to that situation where you say, "Okay, here's your registration, and now you're going to get 4 tickets to the post race party."
Exactly.
And nobody else can come in. You can't get in without a ticket.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
hate to go to
I mean,
that
that's
route.
the thing too, is that we want it to be the Runner's Day. Saying that, we understand this is the biggest event in this community
this
that
community
everybody wants
day.
to celebrate.
Yep. And you have so many people coming home for reunions for this, and everybody wants to get down and meet their family members after they ran, and then you go in and you
Whatever.
or whatever. Yeah, you gotta do that. So, okay. The other thing is that I know that you made an announcement yesterday concerning somebody. This has a tie to the Herkimer shootings, which is
So
really
it was very touching to me.
The charity bib thing, by the way, is a great opportunity for people who don't get through into registration to get in.
So we have 200 bibs. If you can raise $500, you get your bib. That's the only way really kind of that you're going to ensure you're going to get in.
Yeah.
We've had 60-some people already sign up, and it was very touching to me in regards to that. I had a story that actually hit just prior to the 1-year anniversary of it, and the person that is running, her fiance was one of the people that was murdered. She finds out, so she has to deal with that issue. 2 days before her 44th birthday, which was I think like 6 months later, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. So she's fine now. She went through the treatments and whatever it was, and I think at that point in time she had decided that she was going to be running. She's running for Coleman for the Cure. There's 11 different charities, so she's running for Coleman for the Cure. She's running in memory of her fiance Michael Renshaw. And I mean, the real capper to it is that Michael's birthday, what would have been his birthday for I think his 54th birthday, is Boilermaker Sunday.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. And here we are right at this anniversary, which is even... and when did you find out about this?
So I found out a week prior to the anniversary.
Wow.
And she's never run the Boilermaker. So this is a really big thing for her.
So you're going to be trained. You got to train.
She's got to train. She's got a bunch. She's got a group of friends or whatever it is. She's already made the $500 minimum. I think she made it in a day.
And she has the inspiration of being a cancer survivor,
right?
And then the situation with her fiance.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Senseless. That whole thing was just, and it was hard to have it come back. It was really hard. I did a thing on UTR. They interviewed me. I literally, as I was talking about it, I began to choke up a little bit.
Yeah.
I was having a real tough time going back to that time. And remember, I didn't lose a family member. I didn't go through what these other people went through. But remembering that and having that hit home.
I did a thing on it on my blog, and so I had to do a little bit of research in regards to going through Michael's obituary and going through. It was kind of just opening all of that.
Yeah.
That really bad box all over again.
And listen, I see you're kind of tearing up right now as you're talking about this. Tim and I were together when we first learned about the shooting. I was in a meeting at the Boilermaker, and it came across my phone, and I kind of said, "Oh, great, we've got and this is post Newtown." So great, there's a lockdown in both schools, and then all of a sudden
it just kept coming.
It kept coming in, and finally I looked at you and said, "I think I got to go."
Yeah.
And by the time I made it from your office down into the valley, this thing had just really turned into the explosion of the house, and all of a sudden it's like this story just something doesn't sound right here, and look what happened.
Yep.
Jeez. Anyway, but we do these things, and we try to do good, right?
Right.
The people who are left behind try to do things to it makes you feel better, I think.
Well, it doesn't matter who you are. Bad things are going to happen in your life,
Yeah.
and it's how you respond to that
Yep.
that defines you as a person. So, I mean, you can sit there and you can wallow in self-pity, and you can, whatever it is, or you pick yourself up by your bootstraps and say, I'm going to do something better.
Do something and turn this terrible into at least something that accomplishes something positive.
Exactly.
And that's what this the Charity Big program is all
Right.
about. I remember you first talking about it before it even started. You were all excited about what it could do, and now look at what it's doing.
So $105,000
Yeah.
last year, and we didn't even sell out all the bibs. I mean, the biggest problem this year was, so many charities came to us, and it's really, it's how do you make the decision in regards to a blind child versus a disabled vet?
Right.
Although I will say that both of those organizations got in, but it's those sorts of very, very tough decisions that have to be made.
So the question was, how do you make the Boilermaker better? How can you take this event that is so good and so strong? How do you make it better? And you have to be very proud that you have come up with something that has really done just that.
We're supposed to be a change agent. That's really, if you look at our mission statement, is we're supposed to affect the health and wellness of this community, and you can just take that in a bunch of different directions. That's our mandate.
Everything opens up on Saturday at what time?
High noon.
The computer will be able to handle it. People
we've done
created the Obamacare website.
Exactly.
They're on it.
We've got all their programmers in, and everything's good. And you can keep your own running shoes.
You say that now. Now you say that.
Yeah.
All right, Tim Reed, nice job.
Actually, and the other thing is we're going to make an announcement here. You can be the first one in regards to it. We're going to actually have Leon Etienne at the post-race party, and he's going to make the 777 appear.
Ah, wow.
The airplane, it's coming.
That's awesome.
We've hidden it. We've
It's
hidden
been
it on
hidden.
Fantasy Island. We've covered it with that brush that you've been talking about in regards to it, and it's coming.
I think Wolf Blitzer's calling in right now.
That's good. Thank you, Andrew. All right, nice job. So that was good, Tim. Is he really? That's going to be amazing. Yeah. Okay. Birthdays, Tuesday, March 18th. That's where we are. Bill Alexi from Boonville. 16th birthday today, Haley Craig and Marcy. Dolores Bender in Utica. Happy birthday. We'll give the cake to Bill Alexi. Boonville, get a birthday cake from the Florentine Pastry Shop on Bleecker Street in Utica. WIBX950.com. That's where you go to get a birthday on the air. Hometown of the day is Boonville. Newsmaker is the Conservative Party. And my gripe for today is diet. That's my gripe every day, but every once in a while I'll throw it in there. Diet. Ugh. Hate this stuff. Claudia Tenney, Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney from Albany on the radio in 2 minutes after news, which is next on WIBX.
WIBX News Time is 7:33. Your news brought to you by Garrow's Drugs, offering free prescription pickup and delivery to all of Oneida and Herkimer counties. Call Garrow's Drugs today, 732-6915. Western security forces and Chinese authorities say intensive background checks have not turned up anyone with a reason to take or bring down Flight 370. Investigators are convinced that someone with intimate knowledge of the Boeing 777 and commercial navigation diverted the jet. The plane with nearly 240 passengers and crew on board disappeared more than a week ago. The president is awarding medals of honor for combat valor to 24 minority veterans from 3 wars today. A Pentagon review determined that the soldiers were previously overlooked for deserved honors. Recipients include Jewish, Hispanic, and African American Army veterans from World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. The Rolling Stones delaying the start of their Australian tour following the sudden death of Mick Jagger's girlfriend, Loren Scott. The Stones won't play Wednesday's show in Perth. Scott, a prominent fashion designer, was found dead in her New York City apartment of an apparent suicide yesterday. Oklahoma doesn't have the necessary drugs to execute a condemned inmate this week. Officials say the Department of Corrections did not have the drugs for lethal injection, but hoped to obtain them to carry out the execution of inmate Clayton Lockett on Thursday. The big dance, the NCAA men's basketball tournament, begins tonight in Dayton with the first 4, a pair of 16 seeds in Albany and Mount St. Mary's, square off in the first game from the Dayton Arena. And the jackpot for tonight's Mega Millions drawing is up to an estimated $400 million. That is the 3rd highest jackpot in the game's history and the 6th largest lotto jackpot ever offered in the U.S. Mega Millions is played in 43 states.
Still cold for this time of year this morning, but temperatures up just a little bit. Our area is down below zero in the Adirondack State Park. Go through this morning with these frigid numbers trying to come back, but only a little bit. Still below normal with sunshine this afternoon. 39, not quite as frigid tonight, 22. And some rain showers by tomorrow afternoon. Gusty winds at a high of 41. Rain will eventually mix on over with some snow later tomorrow night. Chance of rain and snow on Thursday with highs in the upper 30s. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic on WIBX 950.
And 15 degrees outside of our studios in Marcy. WIBX News Time 7:35, brought to you by CentralNewYork.com. Find up-to-date, easy-to-navigate local real estate listings at CentralNewYork.com, CentralNewYork.com.
Good morning. The sun is shining now as we are looking for a nice spring day, especially considering where it's been. We'll be at about 40 degrees, a little warmer than that with sunshine today, and then things are going to cool off yet. As Ray Staging of the Weather Channel says, winter is not yet over. He's even looking at cold, like high temperatures only in the 20s next week. So enjoy today while you can. You know, there's still snow out there, so you can't golf. No snow, 42 degrees, you can golf.
Yeah.
But this is just ridiculous. So, 7:39, Claudia Tenney, Assemblywoman, on from New York City, or on from Albany right now. Good morning, Claudia.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so here's the big question. Who do you think's going to win the NCAA?
I hope Syracuse.
Yeah, this has been awful.
I would have said absolutely Syracuse, but maybe they're re-gearing and retooling.
I don't know what is happening, but it's been a really rough month. In all
I was a basketball player in high school, right?
I did not know that. You're tall enough for that.
I was a starting center for New Hartford.
Wow.
I used to play in the snow in the driveway with my brother during all those Syracuse games.
Now, that is dedication. So, okay.
That's the choice we have here, right?
So, unfortunately, it is right now. All right, here's the deal. Are you, we have everything. I feel like Astorino, we have everything that he was running, except he didn't make the official announcement. Where are you?
I am putting the gears in motion, but I haven't done the official announcement, and I have to because of the time frame. It's such a condensed time frame that we have to put the gears in motion whether I do it or not because of this. I mean, this is good for better or worse, the primary is June 24th, which is not the same as all the other primaries for the state offices and the local offices, which is, creates a burden on the local governments, all that stuff. So
yeah, they're expensive. Each of these primaries are expensive.
Yeah, and this has created a judge determine this.
Now, okay, so we'll get back to the running or not running thing in a second. But if you run and let's say you lose, can you still run for the assembly, your assembly seat?
Theoretically, yes, because the petitioning season starts June. I think around June 10th, maybe, and the primary is June 24th. And petitions for state and local offices are due usually around middle July. So that's, theoretically, yes.
Yeah, okay, then I'll rephrase the question. Will you run for the assembly if you run for if you run for Congress?
Well, let's cross that bridge. There's a long way to go before I get to that decision, for sure. But it's a decision, and that has to be considered.
So it's not out of the question.
No, I mean nothing's out of the question. I have to look at all the options here. What's going on? What would happen? I don't. It's hard to know.
Yeah. Now we know that you. I mean, we know you have. We know this is what we know, and I know you.
What we know. Who's we?
I know you feel that these are rumors, but we would never report anything based on a rumor. These are facts that I've looked at evidence before my very eyes. So we know.
Judge Bill Keeler, Judge Keeler.
Thank you. It's something I've always wanted to run for. So listen, here's the deal. We know that petitions are out there. We know that there's a PR firm that you're working with in Albany, and in Schenectady. So tell me, when do you make that? And I mean, there are people out there that are getting signatures. Everything is in motion. When do you make the official announcement?
As soon as I can get everything together, one way or another. There's a couple of key decisions that have to be made about which way I pull the trigger. And who's the firm in Albany? You're talking about Brian Young?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, he's a staff person of mine in Albany.
Well,
I don't know how active his PR. I didn't know he had a PR firm. I think he does something with campaigns.
But you wouldn't be able to have him giving out petitions for a congressional campaign out of your assembly office.
No. You can't do it. There's no mixing government and politics.
So that's why.
It sounds funny to say, but you can't. nothing would be coming out of the assembly office.
But that's why Brian Young is the one that I believe, from what I understand, is the one that is distributing petitions
Right, but
out of his.
Nobody's distributing or doing anything in their job with me in the assembly. Absolutely not.
Understood. So that's where his PR firm comes into play.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it a PR firm? I don't even know the name of his company. He's just actually he's a staff person. He's my legislative aide in Albany, but he's assisting me as if we were to go forward with this. He's working on that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll leave that part of it alone. Let's talk about Congressman Hanna. Why do you feel that a run is necessary here?
I think I could do a great job in this position. I think it's an advocacy position. I helped Richard run in 2008 and 2010, 2012. I supported him. In 2008, there were very few people out there standing in, at events other than me and a few others. And my big hope was that Richard, he's a millionaire, he's a businessman, sounded like a great alternative to some of the career politicians and the people who we have in Washington and Albany and all over who don't know what it's like to make a payroll. And I thought that Richard would be a great alternative and had the money and resources to be independent and to really stand up for, Republican conservative principles and fight for them. And I just feel that his voting record, he hovers between the 40s and 50s on just about any conservative measure you can rank him on. He ran, he said he was going to be against Obamacare. He's against increased spending. He's against raising taxes, and he's done all those things. So I don't think that on the issues, I don't think that he has lived up to the promises that he said that he would do as a member of Congress. I think he's made some comments about Republicans that I don't really appreciate as a Republican. I just think you know me. I'm an advocate. I take it seriously. I get in. I meet with people. I find out what's really going on and try to solve the problem and try to get right into what. I'm not afraid to stand up to whoever it is, whether it's Shelley Silver, Andrew Cuomo, whoever. And I think that I'd like to see our representative standing up to Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid, or anyone else who's a career politician, for that matter, whether they're Republican or Democrat, instead of just apologizing for Republicans and then saying my Democratic friends are more congenial. I just don't think this isn't about congeniality. This isn't a social club. This is serious. This is a very serious issue, what's going on in the United States, and it's very serious in Congress.
You paint a picture that he's aligned himself with the Democrats, and I've really never really seen that.
I don't see. He's done quite a number. I mean, have you seen some of the
But I would
initiatives?
say when we've talked to Congressman Hanna, it's always been about voting for his district, and I'm not sure that aligning with the Democrats is the answer. But Christine, go ahead.
Claudia, what about there are two other candidates right now in the conservative arena. What do you say to those who would say your candidacy would, take...
Your non-candidacy has already overshadowed them, by the way.
That's right. But your candidacy would further delineate the divide the Republican Party.
So you got four people in the race.
It's something that it's a race to the finish right now to get through the petitioning season. I've met with both of them. I talked to Richard also on Saturday. We did the parade together in St. Patrick's Day's parade. I talked to both of them, and I just asked both. I didn't ask anybody to step out. I just talked to them and said, "Can you tell me what resources you have and what your path to victory is?" And we had a nice I had a nice conversation with both. But I wanted to make sure I talked to all those people before I did anything, or even didn't, or will do anything if I do. And there are a lot of people that I need to talk to first before I make any final decision. But in the meantime, Bill, you have to get your petitions out because you can't get on the ballot unless you have petitions.
So you'll at least admit to me that you're behind the petitions going out, because if
I'm doing the due diligence. You have to in a situation like this.
And that Brian Young's is it Brian Young? His firm is basically where those petitions are coming from. People will contact him to get petitions.
Right. He's coming to Clinton on his days he's not working in the we're all out in Albany now, Brian and I. Yeah. But he is working in another it's not an assembly office, obviously, but he's working in the other office, and nothing. We would never have anything come out of the assembly, but he is doing that on it. He's only a part-time employee.
Yep.
He doesn't work for me full-time.
All right, so I have one more.
I can't afford a full-time employee with the payroll.
Well, that's the next thing. How this is expensive. I mean, the poll that came out from McLaughlin and Associates says that your let's see, never heard of or no opinion is pretty high. That number is pretty high. People name recognition is low for you, 45%. That takes a lot of money to get there by June. Obviously, you intend to spend some money.
Absolutely, it's not going to be an inexpensive venture.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's a lot to get out there. On the poll, you know that McLaughlin and Associates released the poll, which shows right now Richard Hanna at 73%, you at 17% if the election were today. Your thoughts on that? I mean, this is before you've really even got into the race.
Fortune favors the brave.
Okay.
I mean that's a push poll coming out of McLaughlin. It's a top line poll. It doesn't talk about issues. He doesn't release if you test the issues with primary Republican voters, because that's what the race is looking like it's going to be, and where primary Republican voters line up on Richard Hanna's issues. I mean that's the key. The key is finding out, defining what the issues are, and getting my name ID up in the Southern Tier, because that's where the name ID is. I've never run in Broome County or some of the Southern Tier, but remember, I represented Oswego and Oneida County for, I worked for the former assemblyman as a staff person in Oswego and Oneida County, and I now run in Herkimer, all primaries, remember, of which you know well because you assisted me.
Yeah, I was
the home of my family.
Worked on the campaign.
Our family business was founded in Madison and Shenango County. My grandfather and my mother's from there. I went to Colgate. Our family business is in Shenango right now. We've been around since 1946, and we still have close to 80 employees. Going concern in a manufacturing facility. I think we have. I think there's a really good shot. It's just a matter of getting out. And as you say, it is an uphill battle, and I've got a few days here to decide if it's scalable or not.
All right. So, few days. I'm going to hold you to that.
You and Pat Bailey.
Okay. All right.
He dogs me on that every day.
Claudia Tenney, Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney, thanks so much, and we look forward to hearing you. Glad you came on and gave us the lowdown here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Speaking of that poll, John McLaughlin is the national pollster that conducted the poll, and we will talk to him coming up in 2 minutes on WIBX. All right, we just heard from Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney. A lot of anticipation to see what is happening there. Word came out, I believe Syracuse.com broke the story on this poll that was done, which shows Hanna leading Claudia Tenney 73% to 17% if the election were to be held today. And I got to tell you, it's not like the election, the primary is in just, is months away. It's like tomorrow, June 24th, 22nd. What is the primary date?
24th.
24th is just around the corner, so a lot needs to be taken care of. John McLaughlin is the national pollster that conducted the poll and is on now. Good morning, John.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. So you, we questioned Assemblywoman Tenney. I don't know if you were on the line yet concerning the poll, and obviously she's saying, this. She's certainly not going to put a lot of credence into the poll. Your thoughts? 73-17 is where it stands right now.
Yeah, that's what it is right now, and it's a poll that we just did Thursday night. It's a straightforward poll. She called it a push poll. It wasn't. There was no extra information given. The questions were straightforward, as outlined in the memo. And what you've got is Richard Hanna. And by the way, just to tell you, we called off a list of known primary voters. Everyone was a registered Republican, and 86% said they're very likely to vote on June 24th. So these are informed voters.
Yeah.
And Richard Hanna is very popular. I've been polling for Richard since he first ran for Congress. And just like he was 2 years ago when he was challenged, he's very popular with that. He has a very good favorable to unfavorable rating of 72 to 20. He's strong right across every geographic part of the district. And with conservatives, he's 74 favorable, 20 unfavorable. And he's very well liked by the voters there.
It is. I mean, if you were to listen, certainly there's always an issue in this district with right conservatives, those on the right. whether it was Sherry Bollard or it's Richard Hanna. They tend to be somewhat moderate. But based on what you're hearing from the Assemblywoman is that there is a huge upheaval of dissent here with Richard Hanna, but your poll doesn't show that.
No, it's not. It's not there among the primary voters, among these core Republicans, and that's what happened 2 years ago when he got primaried, and that's what's going to happen this time. I mean, the Assemblywoman is known. I mean, she only 17% said they'd never heard of her. The rest was a no opinion, or she had a favorable to unfavorable rating of 36 to 19. And in the areas in Syracuse, she was 25 to 16 favorable, unfavorable. In the Utica area, she was better known, with a 56% favorable. But in Binghamton, they're aware of her name, but she doesn't have a strong base down there. The real difference here is, I mean, the reason Richard Hanna is beating her 73 to 17 on the ballot is because they like Richard. He's got a very strong favorable rating. He's strong right across the board by every area. He does his homework as a congressman, and he has on a lot of the big votes. He's voting with the Republicans. He's getting most of the time. These primary voters are hearing he's being criticized for voting with the party on fiscally responsible issues and a whole host of other issues. So on the actual ballot, he's winning among conservatives 75 to 18. He's winning among moderates 72 to 16, and he has a really strong base. And those voters who actually have an opinion of both candidates, he's winning 71 to 25.
Yeah.
So even among those that know her, that have an opinion, Rich is doing the job, and people are pretty happy with him in this district.
I do find, and we should again clarify that McLaughlin Associates. This is you poll for Richard Hanna. I find it interesting with the approval rating that Congress has right now in his district. While we're hearing so much in terms of, people are asking me to vote, and this is coming from Claudia. I've heard her on other interviews. They're asking me because they are so unhappy that he is not voting in line with Republican values. But when you look at Congress having such a low rating, job approval for Hanna is at 70%. Favorable opinion is at 72%. These are high numbers.
Right, because he does his homework at home. And people, when you ask a generic question about the institution, the Republicans are mad at the Democrats are mad at the Republicans, the independents are mad at both sides, but they're mad at the institution, and they're mad at Washington in general. And the president, we put out even though we're a national firm, we live in New York, but the president had a 53 disapproval rating in the survey we put out yesterday. So there's a lot of frustration with Washington, but Richard he really does his hard work for the district. And he earns those numbers in terms of favorables and a high job approval.
A lot to make up for Assemblywoman Tenney. A lot to make up in a very short amount of time.
Hey, actually, I mean, especially against somebody as popular as Richard is right now, who's really done a very good job for the district, and he really does his homework as far as the constituents go. Because we do these surveys. We have 20 sitting members of the House. We work for the House Majority Leader. We work for conservative challengers across the country. Yeah. And these are exceptional numbers.
John McLaughlin Associates, thank you so much for taking the time this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, we'll break here. Next hour, a lot to get into. As this is a time to quit smoking, they say. Tomorrow's the big day. We'll get into that. Also, Colgate University, I don't know if you've been following this, but Colgate is really on the way to the NCAAs here. Big time in the ECAC, and we'll dig into all of that and talk more about Assemblywoman Claudia Tenney and Richard Hanna coming up.
WIBX and WIBX950.com.